originally it was called Near Cells, so it was a place for people who have trouble getting laid, but they might possibly have it happen at some point, because things are very polarized. They were like, okay, you're either an incel or you're a normie. And I was like, well, there's a lot of people in between, and a lot of people on like incels.co are kind of in between. So I was like, I see a niche here. So I created that, and then after a while, I was like, I noticed that these thugs here who are anti-rape and anti-pedo, they cause a lot of problems because they're not real anti-feminists. They're not really for patriarchy all that much. Because if you have those viewpoints where you think things like consent matter, then you basically have given in everything to the feminists at that point. So I was like, if we're going to have a system where society can function, we need to have patriarchy, because that's how you have like strong families and stuff. You can have a stable family unit. And, in order for that to happen, then the marital contract, that has to continue. People can't back out of it and say, okay, I don't consent to it anymore. If you want to raise kids, you have to, for like over 20 years, you got to have something in place that's going to last. So, it needs to be that arrangement where like the husband provides for his wife, the wife provides sex, and, they don't back out of it. So, and they, I realized, consent doesn't matter either, because, like women's perception of being raped pretty much depends on whether they think the relationship is going well. If they decide that it went south, then they're reinterpreted as rape anyway. So, such and such. So anyway, then I took it in the rapey direction, and then I was like, well, now that we have these girls showing up, maybe we can get some relationships together, people who are like-minded, who believe in like male dominance, female submission, and who don't believe in people have to be 18 to get married or like to have a relationship. We can match these people up who have similar compatibilities, and we could just share our like rapey ideas, fantasies, plans, wishes, things of that nature. They could share their nudes and stuff. It's that can be part of sometimes. That can be like a jailbait pill. That shows. People see younger people naked and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, these are actually hot. I forgot they were hot. It's been so long since I've been in middle school or whatever. I forgot how hot girls that age were. So that's something. And, it was successful for a while. The thing that happened, though, was that the site, I think that the girls were too scared to go meet people. And, maybe some of these guys weren't all that high quality anyway. Like, there was a lot of trust issues, so I think that aspect of it ended up failing. And then a lot of these girls probably just wanted to role play also, rather than do anything seriously. So what happened there was, I think the guys got discouraged after a while after they got flaked on too many times. And then once we realized the girls had gotten the better of us, then I think some of that rapey energy kind of dissipated. Plus we got some cucks in there. They started saying, like, they just want to compliment the girls, encourage them to share pics. But some of them are like, oh yeah, I'm pedo, but I'm not rapey. I just think consent matters. I just think age is just a number. I'm probably gonna have a sweep and get rid of some of these guys, try to get some hardcore rapey people back in. Get rid of some of the girls who aren't gonna share their nudes, because it's like, well, we know we're not gonna meet up, so if you're not gonna contribute nudes, then you're basically dead weight at this point. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have some reforms, try to go back hardcore. So that's it in a nutshell. They're bored, they're horny, so they want to run away. They're like, they want to get drunk and like have a man buy them dresses and stuff. So they just want to be like a grown woman. Like by the time they're 14, they're like totally tired of being with their parents. Even by like 11, they're kind of like starting to want to explore their sexuality and stuff. So it got kind of old, and I noticed things have really changed. Like, there's a lot more degeneracy you see now. I don't remember seeing, like, there was a certain amount, but I think it's just gotten way out of hand. I even see that on the site. I think girls are a lot more degenerate than they used to be. But maybe they're just more open about it. Like, I mean, the sluttiness has really gotten out of hand. Well, like I was saying, it kind of evolves over time. But yeah, like I've had an interest in having a rape website for a while, like a rape forum. Ever since I got involved in the incel sphere, I was like, well, this sounds like the natural solution to their problem. Just make women property and then rape them. I mean, then you don't have to worry about being involuntarily celibate anymore. All you have to do is earn enough money to buy one, and then you're set. So I was trying to be solution oriented rather than just have this attitude they have of boys wanting to just complain all day. Yeah, it's even hard to really figure out if there is some like grand master plan or if it's just people screwing things up. But yeah, feminism came about just by men being kind of weak and being like, well, women say they want this stuff, so let's just give it to them, and then it just kept going on from there. You know, once you start surrendering, you just keep surrendering more, and then they want more, and then they see the stuff that we got still not making us happy, so let's just blame that on men also, and then it gets to a point where you know we can't really do any right. Like no matter what we do, they say that we're rapists, so because we're not even the fertility rate's so low, people aren't even producing a lot of kids anymore, so this isn't sustainable. Okay. Well, I mean, so I would ask, okay, let's say there's like a married couple and they want to raise kids, right? So let's say that the wife stops wanting to have sex, like she's just like, nah, and then they end up like with a sexless marriage. You know, how are they going to keep their family together given that the man still needs sex? Now, if he's not allowed to rape her. Well, okay, say there's like a sexless marriage, right? So how's the husband going to deal with this inner conflict where he's like, okay, I want sex, but on the other hand, I want to stay with this woman, and she's not having sex with me, and but I need to stay with her for the sake of the kids. So what's he supposed to do? Like, if he can't rape her, then what is he supposed to do about the situation? You know, you see this on like Reddit, like Dead Bedroom subreddit, and you know, they even say on the sidebar, they say, no suggesting rape as a solution. That's probably because everyone would say, well, just rape her. Well, yeah, but then they split up, you know, then they're not getting to raise the kids together, so that might be in their benefit. Yeah, so it's a bad situation, but it's probably better if he just goes ahead and rapes her, and then the family stays together, he gets sex, you know, he's still providing for her, and everyone's happy pretty much. Yeah, I just try to think logically about things, and I don't let the political correctness get in the way because I don't really have a lot to lose. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you can tell the way things are now is not sustainable. You know, the fertility rate being so low. So that's always something I would ask, but then feminists will be like, well, we'll just subsidize having more kids, although that doesn't work either. Yeah, you pretty much just need to make women property. That's what it all comes down to. Otherwise, we're going to die out as a species. That's okay, like when you're alone. But if you're like in a relationship and you have like your wife there who's supposed to love you and she could have sex with you and she doesn't want to and you just have to masturbate, that's going to feel really bad. I mean, it's one thing if you're alone, you know, but if you actually have some woman there who's, you know, she's supposed to be having sex with you and then she just doesn't want to. I don't even see, like, if you raped her anyway, she'd probably get into it after like a few minutes, so it wouldn't even matter. No risk, no reward, though. I mean, those jailbaits are pretty hot. Well, see, if we were going to do that, the way it would be like a deactivate button. I would rather do that than a delete button because delete's irreversible. Deactivate, like I have on Facebook, it just like makes your content disappear, but it's still in the database. See, that's a Facebook that they don't want people to actually leave. For the longest time, they resisted having a delete button. They're like, nah, just deactivate. And then, as soon as you log back in, it all comes back. I think it's better to have it reversible. See, I come from Wikipedia. I've edited Wikipedia a lot, and that's the great strength of it is everything's reversible. Well, yeah, but I mean, you can't change the past. I mean, if you remember the site, you remember the site. I mean, the past is what it is. I guess people might be like, oh, okay, I did some edgy stuff. It's like, well, I guess I get what they're coming from, kind of, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, that's like, you have to, like, that's how you get in touch with, like, your nature, though. Like, if you're reading erotica, you're looking at pictures, you discover what turns you on, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is my nature. Otherwise you might not have known. So, like, if people keep everything secret, then you may never discover what potentials you have, and then it's like you don't really know yourself completely. I mean, sometimes, like if they're sucking a dick or something and they're doing a really good job of it, I mean, I can get turned on by that. I mean, I believe in men being in charge, so, like, if we want to use little girls that way, like, if that's our property, then we can just go ahead and do it. I mean, because that's why they exist. Like, women are mostly just here for our pleasure. I mean, they're, like, we men are the ones who built civilization, so women are just here to, like, have our kids, to give us sexual pleasure and stuff, like, and assist us in various ways, but, yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't be able to just see fit to be like, okay, well, I want to start using them for this at a younger age. I mean, you do with your property what you want to. Yeah, then you face the consequences of doing that in the sense of, if you destroy your property, then now you don't have it anymore. So that's the downside of if you make a bad decision. Well, I don't know. Like, people will say, like, if people say, oh, if you have sex with kids, you damage them. If that's true, then, and then you like say, you have a daughter or something, and then you damage her, then you have to deal with the consequences of that because now you have this daughter who's damaged. So it could be that, it could be whatever you do, or same thing with like a wife or whatever. If we have say some kind of free market where you have to purchase women, then you're losing your investment if you damage her. Or like say you have a daughter, you invest in feeding her and everything like that, and then if you damage her, then now you have damaged property around. So that's the downside if you make bad decisions. Now, if you have a free market there where you let people make whatever decisions they want, then people learn the hard way sometimes, and then we actually learn more about the truth as opposed to just accepting stuff on faith. Like if they say, okay, doing certain stuff with kids harms them, then that's just something scientists are saying. We may not know anyone who, or a lot of times people will give testimonies for biased reasons, like they'll say, oh yeah, my dad did this to me and it had this effect, but then we don't hear the stories where it had some other effects because that's not politically correct, or there was research but they put it in a file cabinet and didn't publish it because they don't want to end up like Bruce Ryan's where he publishes a report saying it's not always that harmful, and then he gets criticized by Congress. They condemn his report. So it's better just let individual families experiment and let people find out for themselves sometimes. Just like, with the coronavirus or whatever, with the coronavirus, we've learned that we can't trust our government to manage our health affairs and tell us the truth about what's harmful and what's not. They've gone way overboard with it. And what they say about pedophilia or sex with kids, it's all suspect at that point because their credibility is shot. Like, yeah, people can be conditioned to be disgusted by different stuff. It's kind of like if you're religious, then if somebody says like the Lord's name in vain, you're like, that's terrible. But if you're not religious, then you don't care. It's the same thing with like anything else people are conditioned to be disgusted by, whether it's like incest or pedophilia or whatever. It's just it may not even be something inherent. Maybe society just told them it was bad, and so they've had to program themselves to be disgusted by it. At the time, I pretty much promised myself I wasn't going to do it again. I mean, it's a lot of work. You have to gather 1,000 signatures, and yeah, I don't know if I have anything more to say that I haven't already said. I mean, I have pretty much the same views. You can run over and over on the same platform if you want, but it probably gets old after a while. Oh, there's this. It just stores it as a hash anyway, like a salted hash. So it's not like your data is compromised or anything. Plus, it's like people are always like, "Oh, it's gonna go to the FBI. How would it go there?" Like it's sitting in a server room in another country in a like undisclosed location. So.